Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, and that means it's going to be a league change. We're going to be going over that league change today in this video. What teams are, we're going to go over the top 4 teams, or what I think are the top 4 like most popular teams that are going to be out there for Sunshine Cup, which is going to be a great league cup, aka it's going to have Pokemon under CP 1500 and under, but with some restrictions. And we're going to go over those teams. And then the other league is also going to be Open Ultra League. We're not going to go over that in this video. Again, if you guys know the channel, I don't particularly like Open Ultra League in general. Ultra League in general, I guess. It's just a lot of expensive mons. And it's hard to make mons every season for it. So, and it does seem to change quite a lot, actually. So we're going to go over those, but first, if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button, and let's go over the first team. All right, the first team I have here is I guess we should go over, really quick, what are the top mon of this cup, and for that, I'm going to open up PV Poke and just say them, I guess, but it's basically going to be like a Talonflame Jumpluff cup. There's going to be some Diggersby, there's going to be some normal types that have rolled out with Licky and Dunsparce, but let's see what else is out there. Looks like Clodsire is really high on the list. Another Clodsire. Actually, the last time this cup was around, it was a Gligar, Vigoroth, just swarm, like Vigoroth on every single team, but now Vigoroth has kind of been nerfed because of the nerfs to actually all 3 moves, right? Body Slam, Counter, and Rock Slide, so Vigoroth's kind of out of the meta, although we'll go over one thing that is pretty good with him. I mean, it's not like he's the worst mon in the league ever, but, you know, he's not going to be at 50%, 70% of teams. There's Clodsire. It's actually a lot of Quagsire, it looks like. Shadow Quagsire could actually come back, even though Mudshot was nerfed a lot. Shadow Jumpluff is one that I don't have listed, but it is around as well. Also, you notice our Jumpluff has acrobatics. I think most of the Jumpluffs in this cup are going to be running Aerial Ace, but if you guys have seen the last video I had with Jumpluff, I prefer acrobatics. I just like a harder hitting move and just, you know, a better finisher in general. That's pretty much it. I guess there's Pidgeot, Abomasnow, Flygon, actually Noctowl, which is weird. Noctowl also having 2 moves that have been nerfed. And then Kanto and Alolan Marowak. So let's go over our first team here. This is probably going to be your most basic team and really going to be seen a lot. It's going to be Talonflame, Jumpluff, and Diggersby. You notice the Talonflame is using the double flying attacks for its charge moves. That's really indicative of this season in general, but especially in this cup where, I don't know, just having Brave Bird in general is so good. Just a move that can do a ton of damage. And basically you can Brave Bird and Dip. I guess I should have gone over this slide first, eh? So this team's weaknesses are going to be it's pretty weak to Talonflame. You have that neutral lead in a Talonflame one-on-one. But you also have 2 things in the back that are really bad against Talonflame. Obviously, Jumpluff is grass, but you can still hit with acrobatics, which is going to do a ton of damage, but you're not going to be doing very much damage with your resisted fast attack of Fairy Wind, and Energy Ball is obviously double resisted from the flying and fire typing. And then Diggersby is, while quick attack is going to be hitting for neutral, you only have things that are resisted for your charge attacks as well. So Talonflame with Brave Bird can pull shields and leave you with a Jumpluff acrobatics Jumpluff in the back. So hopefully you're gaining shields off of Talonflame, swapping into Diggersby. Maybe Diggersby gets KO'd by something, but then you get to come back into Talonflame. Maybe you get another Brave Bird off. It's going to take a second shield. And then you have Jumpluff up shields with acrobatics. So that's really, I think, the main idea there. You're going to be ABA weak to water, so something like the Quagsire is actually going to be pretty tough for you. Clodsire, it has Poison Sting, and I'm sorry, it has Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb, but most of them are not going to be running Stone Edge. If there are some running Stone Edge, you'll have some really bad matchups there because you have 2 flying types. Now, those are the core breakers. So, basically Stone Edge I was talking about on the Clodsire, but any rock damage, so rolled out from like Dunsparce or Licky is going to have a good play against Talonflame and Jumpluff. And then water, you're going to be ABA weak to water because Diggersby is weak against water as well as Talonflame. Let's go over Team 2. So Team 2 is going to be Licky Licky, which, to be honest, there was so much hype for Licky Licky at the beginning of the season. Was going to be the replacement for Lickitung after Lick got nerfed. But you really haven't seen it that much. So I really like that in this cup you're going to be able to see it a lot. This is going to be a safe lead scenario with two things in the back that have opposing coverages. So Abomasnow and Quagsire have, again, opposing coverages, meaning that they cover each other perfectly. They don't really have weaknesses together. But that's what's going to happen here is you're going to probably want to go down shields to win that lead matchup and then basically hard counter the things coming in the back. Really, the worst situations are going to be where Licky Licky has a very bad matchup. So maybe something like Obstagoon is really bad for Licky Licky. Maybe you're not going to see much Obstagoon, even though it is in this cup. But something like that could be really bad. It's going to have ABA weaknesses to fighting in general. But once you lose the lead, it's going to be really hard to get these Mon on the right things. But maybe they're going to use a shield to win that matchup against Licky Licky, in which case maybe you can pull back with all the opposing coverage, or all the coverages you have with Icy Wind, Energy Ball, Aqua Tail, and Stone Edge, just that plethora to hopefully maybe win a match. One of your other problems here is that Abomasnow is frail, but when it's in good situations, it's going to do a lot. So really, this thing is trying to fight Quagsire and Jumpluff. Those two things are going to be super weak. Jumpluff obviously double super effective, having that flying and grass type, where again, ice is double super effective against that. And we already went over that last point. So what are the core breakers here? Here's where Vigoroth is actually a core breaker. It's still going to be fine to use Vigoroth. It's definitely a tier lower at this point, but it's still in this meta. Actually, let me see on PV Poke. It's 114th, which is something like Hypno level in Open, I guess. So it's technically usable, but you're not going to see it very much. Maybe you'll see it once a day, maybe twice a day, but that's max. But it would be a core breaker to this team. Also, something out there is Clodsire, which you will probably see a decent amount. It's just got a winning matchup here against Rollout, obviously resisting that being a ground type Pokemon. And then it's decently good also into Abomasnow, although Abomasnow is going to be hitting it for super effective with the Powder Snow. Unfortunately, Icy Wind, even though it is super effective, not the strongest move as far as damage is concerned, but definitely reducing the attack is going to be fine. So those are your things you're going to have to look out for. All right, Team 3. You know we're going to come with it, a double dark team. So this is ABA against fighting, so something like Vigoroth is going to actually be pretty hard for this team in general because Talonflame takes double super effective from Rock Slide, which Vigoroth has. But technically, again, I don't think you'll see much of that. A lot of safe swaps in this meta are going to be, I think, Licky Licky and Dunsparce. They're just kind of neutral against a lot of things, and I think there will be teams that are actually both of those, or also Diggersby as well. Those are good matchups, like amazing matchups for Obstagoon. If they ever switch into one of these matchups where Obstagoon is good, Obstagoon can absolutely tear them up. So you don't want to get Obstagoon into some neutral matchup. You really want to get it into one of its hard counter matchups. And then we have a Alolan Raticate in the back, and that can be Shadow as well. I don't think I have a Shadow built, so I'm going to stick with the normal one. And I have here Quick Attack, Hyper Fang, Crunch. If you have Return, Return is a better move than Hyper Fang, so you want to use the Return one if you have that one. But I know that the one I have does have Hyper Fang, so that's good. This team actually will remind you maybe of a team in Ultra League that lasted like 4 or 5 seasons itself, but hasn't been used maybe in the last 3 or 4 seasons. And it was Talonflame Double Dark with Talonflame, and I believe it was Scrafty Umbreon. So you don't see that team too often anymore. In fact, I haven't seen it at all. I haven't played Ultra League in probably a season and a half, maybe 2 seasons, but it was a really good team back then, and that's because the mechanics make a lot of sense. Flying type is an anti-fighter type, and then the fire of Talonflame is an anti-fairy type, which those two are very good against the dark types in general. Core breakers here. Another team that's kind of weak to Talonflame, as in the lead is going to be neutral, and then the two things in the back are all actually, well, Alolan Raticate is also kind of neutral against Talonflame, but Obstagoon is going to be in a decently bad matchup into the Talonflame, it resisting counter being a flying type. And then water type lead can be pretty bad here with Quagsire, just because, the Shadow one specifically, just because it's going to be good against Talon, but if I swap into one of these other Mon, it's going to have that energy lead, and in the neutral matchup with an energy lead, it's going to be not 100% a disaster, but they're definitely going to be taking shields from you at some point if they decide to fully stay in. And then if they do fully stay in, it probably means they have an answer for the Talonflame in the back. So something else to look out for. All right, the last team we're going to go over here today is going to be Flygon in the lead with Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, Scorching Sand. So really good moveset. Also, this can be Shadow as well. I guess I would prefer the Shadow, but I don't know if I actually have a Shadow, but we'll see. With Talonflame, again, another Talonflame team. Talonflame going to be everywhere in this cup. Talonflame, Jumpluff. What did I say? Talonflame, Jumpluff, Diggersby, Clodsire. Those are your big things in this. Oh, and Quagsire even as well. But Talonflame is going to be everywhere. And then we have basically an ABB Fire with Shadow Alolan Marowak in the back with the Fire Spin, Bone Club, Shadow Bone. Again, Bone Club buffed, Fire Spin buffed. Let's give them a try. Going to do a lot of damage to the Jumpluff as well. The only thing is you can't really throw the Bone Club at it, so you're always going to be throwing that Shadow Bone. They're always going to be throwing Aerial Ace at you too. They can't really throw a Grass move into a Firemon. This team is really weak into ground types that are good against Flygon, so Flygon itself is going to be good against this team. But basically, Flygon is kind of frail in general, so any neutral matchups where you can't really leave because they're good against the fire types, but you're kind of going to lose or soft win with Flygon are really bad, because it means your backline is going to be just exposed if there is a water type. And also, Quagsire is not that bad against this whole team as well, so it's another one to really look out for. A plus for this team is there's a lot of high fast attack damage. Fire Spin was buffed. Incinerate is the hardest hitting grass move, or hardest hitting fire move against grass, I guess. And Dragon Tail hits hard too, considering Flygon does have a high attack stat, and if you're definitely using the Shadow one, going to be doing even more damage with that one. So things to really look out for is Dunsparce. It's going to be basically hitting Flygon for neutral. Wait, is Flygon a dragon, or is it? It's flying. Oh, wait a minute. 1 second. Oh, it's dragon ground. Okay, so maybe Dunsparce not going to be too good. But Licky will actually be fine against Flygon, so that might be something you're really worried about. Considering it does have just fast attacks that it can get to that really hurt the Flygon, and is a bit more bulky than Dunsparce. But either way, it's kind of like a neutral, like I was saying. Even a soft win in the lead is probably not great for this team. And then you really want to look out for Quagsire. So if you're seeing a lot of the Quagsire, some of these teams just might not be it. But these are the 4 teams that I think are going to be pretty good. I definitely am going to try out a couple of them as well. I mean, you already know I'm going to try out the Double Dark one. So I think Alolan Raticate is fine. I've used it in Sylph Cups before, so the lower coverage, non-open Great League, basically. So it's fine. It's good. It does have a bit of bulk. I think it goes up to almost level 40. So anyways, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If one of these teams is something you want to use, definitely let me know in the comments below. If you're using another team, or you decide to use another team, let me know what that's going to be as well. Maybe I could try it out if it's pretty good. And if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.